is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Which R word would best apply to the team's mindset, resolve or revenge, considering what happened on Monday night?
I think resolve. I think, obviously you like to get revenge. You want to, get the 2 points, but I think it goes beyond that. We're looking for consistency in our game. We're looking for consistency nightly, not just because the team beat us 2 games ago. So, we need to have confidence in the structure we have, confidence in the group in here, and, start collectively putting a better foot forward.
That's Jets captain Adam Lowry leading into tonight's game. Pregame at 4, puck drop at 6 right here on 680 CJOB. Well, I'll say it's a revenge game for the Winnipeg Jets. It better be. They better be ticked off about their effort on Monday, and this is their chance to redeem themselves. But I understand also if you're Adam Lowry and you're trying to get your team back on track, I mean, you can't take on these huge emotional ups and downs. You got to stay even keel. So I totally see where he's coming from. But to me, Jim Toth, tonight's game should be a revenge game.
Well, Adam's right. Like, the revenge part of this is like you're doing it to get revenge. I don't think that's why. They're doing it because they need the points and they need to play better. Like he said, best foot forward. This is starting to sound redundant to me, but the amount of people that, like, I keep saying this is their bad play. And we keep looking for answers in Jets fandom, not with everybody, but most that want younger players, that want more speed, that want trades being made, the old guy's gone, and all of those are non-factors unless they play. They have not put their best foot forward. This is not like you said it the other day. In a span of a summer, they became this bad. They might not be as good, and they might be older and slower, but this team is not this bad. Now, the record is what it is, as they always just say, as Charles Barkley and blah, blah, blah. But they have yet to play better. That's what it's about to me. Yes, they need revenge. Yes, they need the 2-point lot. But this is about you need to get it going here.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline. Open
Not you, Cam.
Open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza to get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15 only at BP. Hey, that number one callers, I got some good ones here. Will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. No changes to the Winnipeg Jets lineup. The rushes out of the morning skate: Connor Scheifele, Velarde, Nemestikov, Taves, Perfetti, Niederreiter, Lowry, Iafallo, Kepke, Barron, Pearson, Nyquist is another healthy scratch for the second straight game. Morrissey, DeMello, Sandberg, Pionk, Stanley, Solomonson, Shannon Miller, your extra defensemen who will not be suiting up for tonight's game. Comrie and then Thomas Milic will not be playing today, so very likely we may see him against the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow, but of course we always have to wait and see. Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. But on Fridays, it's usually the text line, Jim Toth, but it's free for all Friday.
Free for all Friday, 780-6868.
Phone lines are open, 204-780-6868.
Pick up the phone.
Pick up.
And give us a call.
Pick up.
Pick up the phone.
After this, has it been a year? I still have no clue.
Well, I'm just, there's so much going on with the Jets, I've had no time to revisit.
Yeah.
But I'll get to it.
You know what I remember?
Much like Richard Kluche, who works ahead on stories, who often revisits stories. We're going to sit on it and we'll go back to it like Richard does. Pick up the phone and give us a call or something like that, or give us a dingle or something.
Maybe I can look it up right. Maybe I should look it up right. Hold on. No, this for some reason they're not letting it go through.
Blocked again?
Blocked or something. I thought that was fixed.
Pick up. Wow.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Anyways, 204-780-6868.
You can't gamble at work
we'll figure that out
online.
You can't.
Not that I've tried.
We're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. How do you feel about the Winnipeg Jets not making any lineup changes, Jim Toth?
I feel great about it. I think they played better. I think that, this is where they're at. If you don't play well, you don't get in the lineup, and you won't get back in the lineup until somebody else doesn't play well. This is the stage they're at, and I'm fine with the lineup they had and see what they can do against Buffalo. Two different teams, clearly, two different stars and on each team and everything else, but they play the same style of rush, speed, and so I don't mind the lineup staying the same. Let's
go to the phone lines. We've got Richard on the show. Hey, Richard, what's going on?
Yeah, hello, guys.
Hello.
Listen, I just want to say I really think this team is overrated. I really do. I don't think this team has the talent to go in any playoffs, and I think that Cheveldaeff has got to make some changes. That's just what I want to say, fellas.
So what do the Winnipeg Jets need to do, Richard, to be a team that can compete in your mind?
Well, for one thing, they don't have the speed. I mean, let's be realistic. And the other thing that really, really upsets me is the management of this team. I mean, I don't care what anybody tells me. If this team continues in its direction, we could lose this team, fellas, because fans are not happy.
So, Richard,
not.
So you said the team isn't fast. What happened last year to this year that made such a massive change from a team that won the President's Trophy?
You got Ehlers, you got Appleton that they didn't sign. Those were too big, and Appleton was fast. Ehlers is fast, okay? And what did you bring in here? You brought in some old fogies that can't even. The Sambozi is faster than these guys. That's how ridiculous it is. I mean, come on. And the other problem is, nobody wants to come here. So how in the heck can you have a Stanley Cup team if nobody wants to come to Winnipeg?
So, Richard, I'm going to counter your they signed an old bunch of old veterans fossils.
Well, they did.
They did. Who did you think was going to come? Nobody wants to come here.
Well, so what's the point of even having a team when nobody wants to come?
Richard, don't be like that. The point is to keep trying and building around a core that is very, very good and try to keep winning a Stanley Cup. That's the point.
Richard, how many games this year have you watched?
You don't even want to watch hockey anymore, Richard? You seem really down,
I know. Like, how many games have you watched this year?
All right, I've watched every game, and I'm telling you this. Every time I watch the Jets, it's boring. It is absolutely boring.
And Richard, I bring up that point because I'm not trying to insult you, just because I know that you're a huge fan, and obviously this losing streak is you're very upset, you're disappointed about it, right? I mean, that's what's going on here.
Oh, yes. Well, it's more than just that, fellas. I'll tell you the main thing. The main thing is that the NHL has to do something. These players have too much power over teams. I really mean that sincerely.
I agree with that. I agree
Richard,
with that.
we got to go. We got some other callers, but I appreciate the phone call, okay?
I enjoy you guys. You guys are terrific. At least you let people talk. So thank you so much, and keep up the good work, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Richard.
I appreciate it.
I
don't think. I actually think the Winnipeg Jets right now are there's the odds of them leaving the city of Winnipeg right now, just for everybody listening, are, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but they are so slim. I just don't see a scenario right now, given where things are at, the building, the management structure, where the league is, the revenue, the fact that they're looking to expand with $2 billion that Gary Bettman comes out.
It's worth $1 billion.
The value of the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, just look at where they purchased this team for $110 million, $60 million for a transfer fee, whatever they tacked onto it, $170 million. What's the team worth now? $1 billion. Okay, so that's pretty good for an investment over 15 years. Listen, Richard's upset. I can tell he's a big fan. He lives and dies by this team. But if anybody's concerned about where this team is moving or getting out of here or leaving Winnipeg, I don't see a scenario right now presenting itself.
The part of that I appreciate, because I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday who knows this team, and he's fed up with Cheveldaeff. He's like, I'm just done with the excuse that you can't get players. I'm done with this. I think he's been here too long. It's time to move on. He signed these guys. And we went back and forth for over a half an hour, and I just kept saying, they tried to sign Ehlers. He left for the same money. They tried Besser, and Besser took less, I believe. I think they went after him for 8.
Vancouver, from what I heard, just to back up what you're saying, is that they offered Besser more, and he took less to stay in Vancouver because he, at the end of the day, did not want to leave in any stretch of the imagination.
Not a lot less, but so then after that, who did you think they were going to sign? Who did you think was going to come and it's the Nyquists, the Tanner Pearsons, I'm not privy to this. I don't have any inside information, but put 2 and 2 together here. If you're a 27, 28-year-old player, Seth Jones wouldn't even consider this team to play with beside Josh Morrissey and in front of Connor Hellebuyck, the best goalie in the world. Wouldn't even consider it. And he was pointing out, well, Florida gets players. Well, yeah, I go, everybody told me for years Maurice is a horrible coach too. And then my friend said that, well, the GM went and got Maurice better players. Well, of course he did, because they have a winner and it's Florida. I don't, everybody bashing the Tanner Pearson sign and Gustav Nyquist. I'm not defending them as in they're working out great. That's not true. What I'm defending is, what caliber of player did you think he was going to get when Ehlers walked and Besser said no?
Gabriel Velarde.
These kind of players. That's who.
Gabriel Velarde, Alex Iafallo. Those guys have come. Nito Niederreiter. They need to bring guys in that they have control over for at least a season and a half. Right?
We got to get to some calls.
Vladislav, I know we have to, but just hold a second. Vladislav Nemestikov, right? Gabriel Velarde, Alex Iafallo, guys that come in that they have control over. They come into the organization. That's how the Jets have to build. They have to bring guys in. But the problem is most of the time, those are and very good role players like Iafallo and Nemestikov and Niederreiter, and you have guys that have the potential to be top 6 forwards like Gabriel Velarde, right? You bring them in. But the Jets, when they bring in guys like that, they're projects. And they don't always pan out.
Brock Nelson said no.
Correct.
Brock Nelson, they were going to try again, and he stayed in Colorado.
How many years have they had to work with Gabriel Velarde, right?
So let me do this. After Ehlers, Besser, and Brock Nelson, whom they've attempted to bring here, and they all said no.
The Jets don't have quick fixes. There's no quick fixes here. There isn't.
Does Chevy have a list of 10 players after those 3, and all 10 are willing to come here, and he chose Tanner Pearson and Gustav Nyquist over better players? I don't buy that. I think once the big names, the Besser, the Brock Nelson, the Ehlers said no, he's looking at a list of old veteran players that are willing to come.
Let's squeeze Jay on the show here. Hey, Jay, welcome to the show.
Hey, one comment, one question. Comment one, I kind of like what Captain Lowry said. Revenge game, that you got to be careful. Emotions get high, you make mistakes, and that could really backfire. So I'm very happy with the way you say, we just got to put our best foot forward. I think that's the smart way to do. You got to be careful when you're playing with emotion. My question to you is, when do we hit that, man, these guys need to win a straight-out game already, or things are going to go take a real big slide?
I think it's this weekend. Honestly, I think it's this weekend. I mean, if they get pumped in this back-to-back, if they lose bad to the Sabres and then follow it up with a loss to the Oilers, then I think I think we've officially entered crunch time after this weekend if things don't go well.
They need 3 or 4 points this weekend, and it's going to be real tough tomorrow night in Edmonton, who just pounded Seattle last night.
Yeah.
But I think they have to win tonight, and I think they have to try and do their best to get a point out of Edmonton, hopefully 2. But I think it's now going forward. I honestly do. I think going forward, Jay, like the time is not. You cannot have another 2 weeks like the previous month and then go, okay, now we'll start. So you need to start this weekend. You got to get 2-3 points minimum, and then you got to build from there.
So where exactly the parity is right now in the league, to me, that game on Monday in Buffalo has to be the low point of this season. It's not a linear, we're not looking at just a straight uphill climb. There's going to be ups and downs over the course of it. But for this season to work out in the way that they want it when they started this year, make the playoffs, right? That's the first goal. Make the playoffs. Doesn't matter where you are right now, especially in this instance. Colorado looks like they're going to run away with the Central. That's fine.
I think Jets won the Central. Second of the Central is out of the question, no matter how well they turn this around. I think it's now about the highest they can finish, I believe, unless something drastic happens, which I don't see happen, is 3rd in the division, and then you're looking at a wild card outside of that.
Yeah. So make it into the playoffs. That's the first goal, and then see where things go once you enter the playoffs. Buffalo has to be the low point. It has to be the low point of the year. Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side. Hey, Connor Hellebuyck. There's Arneal provided a little bit of an update on him, as well as Hayden Fleury. I'll give you that a little bit of info. We'll go back to the phone lines as well. It is a free-for-all of Friday, and we'll hear from Dylan Sandberg when we return.
You can't share with us what exactly was said in the players-only meeting, but is it the kind of thing, Dylan, that it can resonate for beyond the game that was played in Montreal and ripple effect into, these games that are coming up?
I think it's good. I mean, it was obviously necessary, and I think just we just got to make sure we're sticking together and throughout this entire thing, and we're all one big team, one big family. So, there's going to be tough times, but just making sure we get through them.
Players only meeting, Jim. There's just Dylan Sandberg there. It's either that linchpin moment where things you look back on and say that's where things changed, or a moment that things started to fall down. Let's
squeeze a call.
Let's squeeze a call in here.
Thanks for waiting, everyone.
Reynold, thanks for calling back in. What's up? We don't have much time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know what? You got to capture the good in whether every day in life now, just like in hockey. Even though you lose, there was a lot of good that came out of the game the other night in Montreal. I thought the effort was great. I thought Comrie, that was his best game of his career. And going forward, we're still 2 players away. And I know it's always the same old story. Oh, well, nobody wants to come here. But maybe with Tays, can send some messages down in the NHL, some of these players, that Winnipeg is not a bad place to play and to live. Because I'm sick of that. I'm so sick of, nobody wants to come here. Well, it's a great city and it's a great place. And I want to see a winner. We all want to see a winner win the Stanley Cup. And you know what? I found you guys on Instagram.
Well, thank you very much. You know what? We had to go. I
actually did myself the other day.
Yeah, thanks, Ronald. I appreciate the call. I had to duke it out with Meta to get them to finally allow us on Instagram because of their blocking of Canadian news content. We were in that boat, and then I had to go to them and say, "Listen, we're not news, we're sports." And then they just dropped it. So now we've skyrocketed on Instagram. So thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Did you know that, Jim? This is what's been going on behind the scenes.
This is crazy. I did find us on Instagram about 2 weeks ago.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're like my son. You teach me this stuff.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15, only at BP. More Free For All Friday after this.
At the end of the day, it's like we were getting 0 goals, and it's hard when that line can score like that. You hope that they can go out and do what they do, outscore the opposition, whether that's 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, and then hope the other guys chip in, and that's kind of what's happened. And the one thing about that line is they're usually always on the plus side of chances and goals. But do we spread the wealth? That's something, honestly, we've been talking about here the last couple of days, and we wanted to get through this stretch here. It's one thing we have done a lot of, is change the lines. It's happened quite a bit, and there is just my own experience from that, both coaching and playing, is it's hard when you have different line mates each and every other night. Chemistry is a big part of it. So liked a little bit, like I mentioned, we didn't score the other night. It was better with our second and third line. Fourth line, let's see if we can't put it together here coming home and score some goals off it.
That's our Neil asked question about splitting up Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, and Gabriel Velarde. Very good answer.
So 2 things there. You mentioned this about chemistry and you wanted to see the line stay together for a while.
I do.
And then B, we talked about that yesterday. That's what coaching is. Like, everybody wants this to be fixed now. Mm-hmm. And Scott understands that, look, we were a little bit better. That's all you can ask for. Now you hope to be better tonight, right?
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP call. We'll win a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. Graham, thanks so much for waiting. What's up, man?
Hey, fellas. I guess a quick question for you. One, I know it's obviously difficult to get guys here, so signings are kind of whatever to me. But my main question is, why do you think it's been so difficult to draft and develop NHLers over the last 4 to 5 years? And if you think it's Cheveldayoff missing on draft picks, or it's coaching not really willing to give them a chance?
When we say missing, here's what I'll say. I think the next core is there. I was around when the Ehlers, the Morrisseys, the Lowrys, the Scheifeleys.
Thanks, Graham. Appreciate the call.
All that came in. I think the next one is there, and it's Jagger, Barlow, Lambert, Solomonson. The kid you're going to have to help me out, they drafted last year. Thomas Milic is on his way. So is DeVicentis. Like, they have about 7 or 8 players that in 2 to 3 years will be on this team if they don't trade them. Secondly, it's a different thing when you're drafting out of the top 15. And thirdly, he has missed on a couple of times. No GM's perfect in drafting. he missed a couple of times in the first couple of years too when he was taking the Trubas. And I remember the second overall pick after Scheif, or that was Lowry. But I remember they took a Sutter kid that I'd watched played in the Dub one year, and I thought he was going to make it, and he had a bad shoulder. He never even made the A. So it's not 100%. It's not as good as it was because you're not drafting Patrick Laine second overall, Mark Scheifele 7th overall or 8th overall or whatever it was, and you drop down, right? Plus, you're trading a lot of your high-end draft picks. So I think it's a combination of all that. I think when we look at this and go, why is he drafting poorly lately? I don't buy that. I think he's just drafting players that take longer to develop. Dylan Sandberg. I mean, it's not a I think Chevy's a victim of his own success because he drafted so well. But that was their 100% focus in the early years. I think drafting.
I think he's also had to move out more picks. And I think also
you're picking less.
I think
or down in the lineup.
Could you imagine if the Winnipeg Jets now, if the Jets did not hit 3 out of 4 to start their like the first 8 years, they hit 3 out of 4,
or
like,
an absolute gem in Hellebuck in the 5th round. Like I don't even think the Jets will claim that they saw this coming.
Adam Lowry was a 3rd round pick too. So
Adam Lowry, I knew was going to hit.
They're just. I think there was. I don't think anybody those initial years. I just think that they were they were so far ahead of everybody else that I think everyone's sort of expecting that to continue. But that was so out of the realm.
This way, I think if they had not traded for Sean Monahan and Tyler Toffoli and some of the other players and they had those picks, I think there'd be 1 or 2 other gems in there. I just think they haven't had as many picks. I don't think they're picking as high, and he's missed a couple. But there's also like. I don't have a problem with Corby Barlow from what I saw in training camp and the Moose this year. I don't have a problem with like Milic.
Braden Yager is playing very well.
Braden Yager's a great trade, which is for Rutger McGroarty, right? Yeah. But still, it's the same class and stuff.
Let's go back to the phones here.
Yeah, I just think it's a combination.
Yeah, let's bring Reese on the show. Hey, Reese.
Good afternoon, guys.
Hello. Thanks for calling.
Yes. My comment is that I don't think that we should ever let Mason Appleton and Brendan Tanev go. I think Appleton is part of the line mate that stirs the pot on that line. Lowry and Niederreiter would be scoring a lot more goals if Mason was there.
Reese, and you're bang on.
Tanev fit in really well with Braden Barron on the 4th line. They don't score a lot of goals, but they don't get a lot of goals scored against them.
So Mason Appleton was being run out of town last year, right?
Correct.
For a year.
Guess so. I don't know.
He has no offense. He has none of this. Wow. He made that line go because the forecheck is part of this defensive system. And he got in on the forecheck. He had the speed to get there. The Kepke's in the...
And he'll get you 10 goals a year.
Yeah. So I never had a problem with Mason Appleton, ever. No, but I was told that he couldn't get out of here fast enough.
Wow.
Not him. I mean, some fans.
He had very big misses in very big moments.
Well, the Dallas game 6.
That's right. And I mean, that was the thing with Appleton. It's just like, it seemed that he was able, when he had the opportunities, when the team needed a goal, he just was unable to deliver on it. That was the problem.
But 10 goals on the 3rd line would look pretty good right now.
I agree with that. Reese, do you want a car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 690 St. Anne's Road?
Sure.
All right, Reese. Thanks so much for the call.
And romance, Reese.
It comes with romance. Let's go to George on the phone. Hey, George.
What's up, boys?
How's it going?
George.
Listen.
Georgie boy, I'll turn the atmosphere around.
I believe the Jets 1.0 originally sold for $5 million back in the day. If I'm not mistaken, that was the selling price for our first Winnipeg Jets.
I can look it up to confirm that. I'll look it up. Go ahead. Keep going.
Check it out. I'm pretty sure that's where it was around. But anyways, if we go back to the beginning of the season when all our vets were injured and Lowry was having the surgery recovery and stuff like that, we were 9-3. And if you look at who was in the lineup, Parker Ford was there, Brad Lambert was there. And these guys were the boys that were doing the work in the corners. They may not have scored a whole lot of points, but they were spending a lot of time in the O zone, keeping the other team in their defensive zone. And it allowed the other players to concentrate more on the scoring. We're not getting that out of Pearson and Nyquist and even Shen. Like, those players are not doing the job that they're supposed to do, which is not allowing all the other players to score any goals. Now, we only got 3 people scoring goals on this team, and that's our top line. There's, 15 other players on the team that can't put a puck in the net. And that's because they're spending all the time digging the pucks out of the corner. And the only person that's really setting up on the second line is Jonathan Toews.
Well,
and the other players are just missing the net.
Well, Gary, the one thing I'm going to agree with you on that is they're just not forechecking. I mean, and that's been a big problem. I mean, that's been a huge issue for the team.
Yeah, we were 9-3 in the beginning when those three players were out. And Parker Ford and Lambert were in there, even though they weren't scoring a whole lot of points.
Okay, Gary, I'll say this. Did Scott Arniel like the Winnipeg Jets games? Did he like how this team was playing over that period of time?
It's George.
Oh, George, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, George. Did Scott Arniel like the team's play in those instances? Like when those guys were out of the lineup?
Because he liked to play now. Like
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Better, but the fact is that we were winning. We were 9-3, and those boys were in the lineup doing the work in the corners. And that's also, I agree with the last caller, with Mason Appleton. Like, he was doing the work in the corners as well, which was allowing Niederreiter to score even more. So the players that we need to do the work are not doing the work. And those are those three players.
You know what? Never, George, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it. Never in my life we've had, how many calls have we had Mason Appleton? I mean,
last year all the calls were get rid of him.
People hated his guts, man. Like, I was just going to go back and read the text lines. Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to explain. Like, you don't have to score to be an effective player.
Sunshine when he's gone.
You have to have spat. Now, he signed for $2+ million, and you have Tanner Pearson at $1 million, or just over $1 million. But look, the other part of this topic is, we got to get to Jack and Dave here. The other part of this topic is, I don't think they're too far away from this. But the problem is the Brad Lamberts and the Chibrakoffs, and I don't know if they're not. We had a friend go to the Moose game and said Brad Lambert was terrible.
Yeah.
And looked very uninterested in stuff. You cannot do that if you want to get back into this lineup. You have to go down and not only have your best games for the Moose, but you have to put up some points. Then you will call back up. But I think if they do that for the Moose, we're not too far off from that camp.
Yeah.
I think in another 2 or 3 weeks, they might go, he's had a great 3 weeks with the Moose. Let's bring him back up, because this isn't getting it done. So I'm on board with this caller, but the problem is the player themselves have to do this. I saw it with Ville Heinola the second time he was sent down. I saw his very next game. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. You cannot do that in this organization. You have to go down with a chip on your shoulder and play your ass off, and you'll get back on the lineup with the Jets. This is a lineup with the Jets that is begging for somebody to step up and play better. You're not going to convince me that if they do this with the Moose, they're not going to get another chance. But you have to play better there.
Well, what the Winnipeg Jets needed in those, I mean, what George was talking about there, what the Jets needed was those guys that he's mentioning to come in and blow the doors off and say, like, yeah, you're not going back down.
Look at this lineup tonight and the money and the veterans that are in the press box. They are screaming for somebody to step up, play well for 60 minutes, and contribute. You're not going to convince me that if a Moose player could do it, they're not doing it.
By the way, the Winnipeg Jets sold to American businessmen Stephen Gluckstern and Richard Burke for $65 million US in 95. So
$65 million in 95?
Yeah. So
that's like $200 million.
So it wasn't $5 million, but in today's money, it might as well have been.
I was going to say I couldn't do that, but for $5 million, I would have called.
Let's go, Dave.
Friends.
Hey, Dave, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I think the Jets are just too comfortable. I think it's simple as that. That they were 9-3. They had the guys injured. You know, they were winning. We're playing pretty. Like you say, they didn't like the game, but they were winning. And then the guys came back from injury. They had automatic spots. And I think they're too comfortable. That's when they started losing. And so people on the Moose, right, they kind of see the culture that if you play well, kind of doesn't matter. You're going to get taken away when the top-ranked guys come back. So I think that's simple as that. They're just too comfortable because they were winning. They came back. That's when they started losing. I'll hang up and I'll listen to what you guys.
Yeah, Dave. I just think that's professional sports. I think you as a young guy that has to come in as a prospect, and I think those guys are still prospects in this organization, you got to come up and win a job over a veteran. And I don't think that necessarily happened.
No,
and I think what's going on right now is we're working backwards. We're wanting to see what happened in those games, and those guys did have their rehearsal as members of the Winnipeg Jets. I think we're just looking back and we're remembering things wrong and how they actually were going.
And I love Parker Ford, and I think he played well here. But I also know twice he could have dumped the puck in when he didn't, and it ended up in the back of their net.
I think that
now, did the positives outweigh the negatives with Parker? Yes, they did. But twice it cost them goals because of simple dump-ins that maybe the game was too fast. He thought he had an extra step. Those are the things that you're trying to figure out, right?
Thanks for the call.
Players.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Appreciate it. Let's bring Jack on the show. Hey, Jack.
Hello.
Hey, Jack.
Hi,
you
Jack.
there?
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. I've been to every playoff game, and I just want to say 2018 was the best year, and they got a Paul Stastny. So Chevy needs to go find a Paul Stastny. He's got to put a deal together, blockbuster, or give up a first-round pick that, to St. Louis that they got Ryan O'Reilly for. You can't just muddle around, Like, yes, the team was worth a lot of money, but he has to make some moves, just like, say, a Vegas would.
Would you go get a Ryan O'Reilly and put him in the second line with Domestikov and Perfetti, and then put Taves on the fourth?
He doesn't give them what they need,
which is scoring.
Wow, I don't think Ryan O'Reilly's the guy. I think there's a name that we're not. It always is like this. There's a name that we don't know is available right now. That I think the Winnipeg Jets should go out and get. I don't know who it is.
You know what?
Thanks for the call, Jack. Appreciate it.
The Stamkos is interesting. I don't know what he has left in the tank, but I've always loved him. And I wonder if you could put him in this top six, if he could get Perfetti and Domestikov. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not knocking Taves. Like, for where he's been through, he's fine minus the offense. If Taves was on the fourth line with a Barron and you had a Stamkos or somebody like that, but the other problem is what if it doesn't, right? What if he comes in and it doesn't?
Miss your chance. Get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15, only at BP. We'll play our number one caller to the Jets at noon hotline when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Great stuff today.
And we got to talk about where Connor Hellebuck is. We'll squeeze that in.
At noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Jets don't have a second line. They got 2 third lines. But saying that, I'd like to see Barron center the second line with Niederreiter and Iafallo.
There's Brad. He is our VIP caller. Says the Jets don't have a second line, and they needs Morgan Barron up on that second line. Morgan Barron had a hot start, but I don't necessarily think that should be his spot. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's squeeze Sean on the show here real quick here. Hey, Sean, thanks for calling.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, we got about 45 seconds for you.
Okay, boys. I said it in the summertime. There's going to be about 4 months of pain with this team. Every single line's been shuffled around. New players, new additions. They don't know the systems. It's taking time. There's recovering injuries. I guarantee you they're going to pour it on in the second half. Do they need a defenseman? Yes. Do they need a right winger? Yes. Once that's put together, things will come together. Everybody needs to just kind of calm down a little.
Thanks for the call, Sean. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Actually, that's not a bad that if they can. Honestly, that's what I'm waiting for, is for them to sort of get out of this funk, start playing better defensively. I think they're in a hole, but
it'd be nice. Here's Scott O'Neill on the update on Connor Hellebuck earlier today.
Yeah, he's into movements. He's got movement going. He hasn't touched the ice yet. It's getting close though. So sort of his up-down stuff is starting to happen. So it's progressing as we'd hope.
So expectation, again, nothing has changed there. Just before the holidays, just after the holidays, that's the expectation when Connor Hellebuck will be ready to return. And also Hayden Fleury has been cleared. He's back on the ice, but he won't be playing tonight. He won't travel to Edmonton because he hasn't been skating. He's got to get his conditioning up because he was in concussion protocol. So he had to stay off the ice, and now it's working his way back into the lineup. So
that's good news, though. That's great news. On both, like it'll be
tonight's
it's all
game,
about them. It's all about their play, in my opinion.
Buffalo Jim. I mean, this is a huge weekend. Buffalo Jim, not Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Jim, and Edmonton this weekend. I mean, Monday could be a very interesting show depending on how these two games go.
Yeah, like I said, I think they have to get 3 or 4. 2 is acceptable, but not optimal. But I would think they'd beat Buffalo tonight. I would think that their pride and how they played better. The ominous one for me is going into Edmonton tomorrow night after flying. But hey, they've gone in Edmonton a lot and surprised people.
Yeah, last year they had a big win to start the year off there. So we'll wait and see. Jim Toth will take you all the way till 2 o'clock. Thank you very much. Jeffrey Forche, great job producing the show. As always, I'll be back Monday. See ya.